Okay, welcome back. And we're back and we're ready. Good, good, good. Back. Okay, so where was I? Very back. So did I decide anything yet? And maybe I won't be able to 90% of my session limit, so it's gonna crap out on me here in a second. Um, Not yet. You've identified a plot issue about Max's man following Zanzibar. Now Max finds out about the theft, and we discuss a few options. Bookkeeper notices men see easy pocket money. Max discovers through accounting. Uh, you haven't committed to which direction you're taking it. You said something to do. I don't know what I'm leaning towards now, honestly. I think I think it needs a rewrite somehow. I don't mean I need to go in and like do like a whole like art change or anything, but I need to somehow smooth that out a little bit. Um, Maybe I should exclude the whole tax collecting subplot. It is pretty weak anyway. Yeah. Uh, yeah, he could just tell him his plans. Um, it sort of removes kind of the meat of Zanzibar's arc. So I have to come up with something or maybe possibly reduce his two-chapter story to one chapter. I don't really like the idea of introducing characters for only one chapter, though. Although I still like to include a character because he was one of my original. He was one of my originals. Originally, he was uh, going to expose um, the Brotherhood of. It's like the Brotherhood of Magicians. That's a real thing, right? Brotherhood of Magicians. Uh, International Brotherhood of Magicians. Yeah. Okay. So that's right. Uh, they take the main national ambitions. Greatest illusion. And then they're the ones that ultimately chase him into a nearby hotel, not the police. And that's they are their points. I decided it was better since he was a villain to make him a real villain instead of just which may or may not be criminal. What if Max hires Zanzibar for entertainment distraction purposes? Like, mm, not really. So in exchange for helping him, Max gets to pick off audience members, and in reality, that's just fine with Zanzibar. Not that he wants it, but that he just doesn't care. I'll have to think some more. It means producing more more story out of thin air, so to speak. Okay, so I still got to come up with something then. That's kind of, yeah, that's the kind of thing that's going to stop me from finishing today. And I might could finish today if I just stick to what I'm doing right now, which I could reduce it to one chapter, or I could eliminate them entirely. But then you're still throwing off the balance, you know. I don't know if anybody would think it's a big deal, but to me, it's still a big deal of throwing off the balance between heroes and villains. Because first of all, everybody likes an underdog, right? Everybody likes the against all odds kind of thing, overcoming. I mean, that's partly why we watch movies. We watch, there's these huge amount of villains, and really, there's not a huge amount of villains, but in Lord of the Rings, Sauron, and Saruman, and all the various things that kind of go along with that. Now, I guess I don't know. I mean, technically, if you're like villain to villain count, because basically Sauron is like this uber powerful villain, um, you know, force or whatever he is, and Saruman, of course, it's kind of like his henchman, and then of course you got orcs and the Uruk-hai and whatever orcs, goblins, and stuff like that. And so, really, you only have a few villains. And so, if you think of it that way, hmm, that's kind of an interesting thought. That in a sense, the villains are still more powerful, and so the balance is not. There's not an off balance when you watch Lord of the Rings, for instance. You know, so part of the deal is the balance. That I was sort of thinking about balancing that. Um, we want the villains to seem powerful so that the hero or heroes can be seen to overcome this huge obstacle. So having more good guys than bad guys makes the story unbalanced. I originally had a character had my werewolf character be a um, not be a villain. See, when he got bit and transformed, he he becomes a coward, and that's what I thought would be humorous. Cowardly werewolf. But I realized I had too many guys, and so I just made another villain. Formidable opposition, so the hero's victory feels earned. Though I point out it's not always the raw numbers of good guys versus bad guys. One powerful, well-positioned villain, like Smacks with the resources to control the kingdom, mines full of slaves, can outweigh multiple heroes. If you felt the werewolf worked better as a villain for your story's balance, that's your call as the writer. Well, I'm kind of considering whether or not I need him. Because I could just exclude him. He doesn't serve a huge purpose. Although, because of some other story changes, um, he did give Max some extra support. So basically, the original version of the story had the princess uh, and her people, her realm, um, could imbue non-magicals with magic, and the story was a bit darker. Not that um, I was still intending family friendly comedy, cartoon comedy adventure. where Max had abducted people to become part of his armies by injecting them with quicksilver. So he was experimenting. And I deemed that not very family friendly. Really, I'm just trying to keep it all ages appropriate, but this was a little too dark for the tone. So he kidnaps the princess to try to force her to divulge the secret while he was still experimenting. So when I realized, hey, that's a little too evil for my intention and for some audiences that here, let's go back over here. Hey Rick, welcome to the stream. So evening to you, my friend. Although it's just still afternoon, it's not technically evening right yet, but close enough. It's a little TV for my intention. For my intention, and for some audiences that I decided to change it to where her people comes up with a quicksilver refining process that produces 20% or more purity. And since she's not being very cooperative, that Max decides, since Zanzibar is drawing sizable crowds, that he could actually get the remaining slaves from his shows. From his shows to make up for the difference. So I sort of also made his story a bit more important to the overall plot. But one chapter isn't much. It's almost forgettable. At least 2 chapters, and maybe 3. Although I'm not saying I have enough for 3. I'm just saying preferably at least 2, if not 3. Oh, I'm done with Claude for today. Yeah, the free messages until 5, and 5 I'm not going to be on here. So for current server purposes, he provides Max with the remaining workforce needed for the mines after Princess won't cooperate with the Quicksilver refining. One chapter feels forgettable, and you want 2 to 3 chapters to make them memorable, significant in the core issue. You need more story for content Zanzibar that justifies 2 to 3 chapters, maintains him as villain for balance, connects meaningfully to Max's plans, works with the weak tax collection subplot. So your way and keep Zanzibar and find more story or cut him entirely, since his role could potentially be filled by another way. Max just abducts people from various places. Is that where you're stuck? I would say yes, except for I don't think it's going to let me do that. Exactly. I have an image generator now, but for did it go out again? It went out again, didn't it? It's working fine. I just seen the thing that says reconnection. Doggone you, stupid. I wonder why it's doing that. Why it's been acting up on me. I wonder if it's our internet or something. Is something going wrong with our internet lately? I mean, it could be due to the winter storm dealy that's been happening, but hopefully, let's see. Let's okay. I mean, it does look like I'm sort of semi up to date here. Uh, let's refresh this. And why does it keep disconnecting? That's what I want to know. That's weird. We're thinking about switching to Starlink. Well, we were thinking about switching to Starlink. Not so sure now. See, there's an issue with Grok, you might say, and that is that some people are using Grok, um, the image generator, to generate what do they call that? Grooming material, let's say. Um, Not even necessarily real grooming material, just taking somebody's kids and using the pictures and using uh, Grok to generate some certain unfavorable images, you might say. And supposedly Elon Musk said he was going to do something about that. He was going to try to eliminate that kind of stuff off of the, Twitter, off of X. Oh no! Shoot! It's live for 146. Oh, maybe that's because I rebooted, right? Hopefully, yeah. Um, okay, 30 minutes, right? Yeah, yeah. I've been on for 30 minutes. Okay, so I'm still here. I guess apparently I'm still here, right? Uh, okay. Actually, let me go back to this. I want to see if it's like doubled up on me or whatever. If it looks like it's still continued, right? Yeah, and this is still part two, and everything's working fine, right? Okay, good, good. Okay. Anyways, so um, so part of this material that's on X, um, and a lot of these groups that do this kind of bad material, we'll say, use X, and apparently Elon hasn't done anything about the what do they call it, CSAM, CSAM. We'll just leave it at that. I don't want to. I don't want I don't want to be pinged, and I'm not even trying to talk about it. I'm just saying. So we're reconsidering using Grok for anything right now. I know I was leaning to ChatGPT. Bill Gates and Microsoft have big investments in OpenAI now. So you're kind of like, I don't know. Google is Google. Actually, what's funny to me is Google, as far as being what they are, Google is just what they are, right? They utilize your stuff. They hide the privacy controls. They hide the some of the stuff in multiple menus, so it's hard. YouTube is always being kind of against creators and stuff, and bad faith actor kind of thing. But out of all the ones that I keep looking at, Google Gemini seems like the one I could go with, because at least we at least you know what Google's doing, right? You know how Google is. You know how some of your stuff is going to be used, and you can even shut some of it off because they claim that they have the controls, but you have to dig for them, right? So you have to be pretty vigilant when you're using it. But at the same time, we all use YouTube, right? That's owned by Google. We all use a lot of us use stuff like Google Docs and Gmail, right? I have a Gmail account. I don't use it that much, exactly, but I do use it, and so I'm kind of going. The ones that are still kind of above board, even though they're still as far as being a big evil corporation. Dang it! What's the internet going off now? Dang it! My internet keeps going out. Don't know why. Why does it keep going out? I wonder if it's weird. And I wonder if it's just Brave browser just has an update. If I oh, you know what? If this is today, then the new updates could be the Brave browser update that's fixing the video problem that we're having so far. Anyways, that doesn't matter. So now let's see if I'm actually still on. So let's refresh this. Okay. So that's still there. Am I still here? Rook, if you or if anybody is still in here, let me know. Let me know that you're still here. I mean, some reading is 4 there, and uh, if I reload the page here, still have 3 people in here, 1 person in, I guess, in or 2 people in YouTube. So, anyways, uh, here, is it still gonna work? It's doing that weird thing again. Although, I think I'm still on, so I think no, it's not showing up there, and it's not showing up. Okay, it is just showed up in the Rumble stream. It didn't show up in the YouTube stream. Reload the page. Uh, nope. Let me try one more time here, because Rumble still seems to be working. YouTube chat working through restream. Come on, YouTube, you can do it. Nope, YouTube's not doing it now. Okay. Let me know if I'm still in YouTube. And I don't know why it keeps on it. So why does my internet keep on going out? It ticks me off. Because I think my Wi-Fi is doing all right. Somebody has a Ring doorbell nearby. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, well, hopefully it won't do it again. It might do it, keep doing it, but we'll see. Anyways, Google almost seems like the one I should go with. Like I said, ChatGPT, uh, big Microsoft investment. I don't know, because of how big Bill Gates is. I don't know if I want to use ChatGPT or not. Might go with Google maybe, or might go with Claude. Now, like I said, Claude doesn't seem to have. Um, well, I guess it supposedly does have image deals, projects, code, chats. Uh, I guess that. Uh, Let me check something out here. I don't know if let's put me live here. So YouTube chat isn't working. I mean, it might be working directly, but through Restream, it's not working. Um, All right. Anyways, guys, just let me know if pop this out, pop this out, and then we'll see here. Do that. There we go. And I can see both of those. Okay, that's good. I'm here now, I hope. Okay. The stream seems strong right now when it's connected. I just don't get why it's. Uh, I can't do max. We don't have enough money. 17 a month for, oh, what is monthly is 20, but 17 a month if billed annually. I see. That's not too bad. That's actually not a bad deal. Uh, More usage than free uses limit supply. Pro plan. Weekly usage limit that applies across all miles and reset 7 days after your session starts. Hmm. That's the one thing I kind of don't like, though. Uh, Claude seems a little bit more strict than even when you get the pro plan. But I could I could use Claude, honestly. Okay. Anyways, so I'm still thinking about this AI thing because it's pretty useful. I could just keep on using the free stuff, I guess. Um, we often kept thinking that if we paid for one of the tools, that they would actually be a lot more helpful. Anyways, okay, so basically, um, as far as my story goes, um, Zanzibar travels to a few villages and collects some tax money in between shows. And then some money is collected into his own pocket. Okay, so if I drop the tax collection subplot, um, let's say he tells him, and then let's say let's say there's a couple of issues that maybe I don't need the tax collecting subplot. Maybe he still hides his money, right? Maybe Max claims that he can keep his money um, from the shows, just as long as he lets them pick out some you know some audience members for some special services, e.g., work in the mines, and um, and that's fine. But there's a couple of things. One is he's planning on betraying Zanzibar, anyways. That was always originally part of the plan. He betrays him. He barely escapes. Okay, we can still have the thing about him having the stash of money, of his own money, somewhere. Um, and maybe the fact is that Max keeps him alive. In other words, he he needs to wait until he has Max's money before he can dispose of him or let him go or whatever. Before he can betray him, he has to find his stash. Okay, so that's the thing I can do, and I can leave the tax collecting out. I have to recheck the chapter 7 because it's going to um Right. Grabbing audience members. But instead of collecting tax money, he's just going through. Yeah. I won't have the tax collection thing on there. Now how does this jive with just leaving it as it is? I'm not planning on leaving it as it is, but what I'm saying is still, yep, it's still running. Okay, thanks, Rook. Uh, as long as you can still hear me. um, okay, so the deal here is I remove that. Does that does that leave out story though? Maybe it doesn't. Okay, so maybe what the deal is Max. Okay, so first the idea is, shoot, I might have to completely rewrite some of these lines here, which means I might not get the things chapters done this week, which annoys me because it's like I try to get a leg up, and then when I'm like, oh yeah, this I'm almost done, and then I look and I'm like, wait a second, I'm not almost done. So can I finish this at the end of the week? Shoot, maybe I should do about the whole YouTube storytelling thing. I know it's streaming, but maybe it's like maybe each time it's like, can I do it? Maybe the story is, uh, even though I'm not editing this, it's like, okay, so can I get this done in the week? And me trying to do that, um, and realizing that time is ticking down. But in any case, I need to, let's see, where is, oh, that's right. Okay. Anyways, what was I saying about kind of reworking his story? Um, the beginning stuff still the beginning stuff though, but the big I think. Oh yeah, Cars managed to steal from Max Vaz doing it. Zanzibar just has more shows. Uh, well, I don't have. I have to actually go into the game and find the actual card where this is in, and then add the extra line here. Uh, Max has forbidden public displays of magic, but notices Zanzibar is popular. Okay, and this is just a line. Whoa, the line. Control C, Control S. Let's go into the thing. Let's go back to Zanzibar the Great. Okay, a whole new world. Smaller end village. His first new scam. To move on. Okay. Okay, maybe it's this one. Oh, see, I'd already even changed it. Okay. So we have all the stuff about him searching. I mean, that's all right. The New Deal. Catches up to Zanzibar in another village, confronts him after the show, and makes a deal with him. Helps Zanzibar with larger productions in exchange for doing some tax collection for Max. Now, change that. Okay, let me go back to the thing here. confronts him. Confronts him after the show. Makes a deal with him. Okay. Okay, so let's think for a second here, so I can change it. It's okay, Fender. Okay, so okay, making a deal with him. Exchange for doing tax collection. See, I have to redo. I kind of have to redo this text here, which I'll have to do in the actual game itself too. But it's just a page thing. It's not a decision point thing where I have to completely rewrite everything. Like I was saying. Okay. Max catches up to Zanzibar in another village and confronts him. Max claims he's not allowed public displays of magic. Okay, so he steals with him. And furthermore, he wants his money back. Zanzibar manages to Zanzibar returns his money to him and tries to get out of consequences. We'll leave it like that. Tries to get out of the consequences. That shouldn't be a thing there. And he wants his money back. He wants the money back. And the bar stole. Okay. Turns his money to him. Makes you okay. Let's see. Let's see if I can do this a little bit shorter here. Tells him he knows he stole his money and that the displays of magic are forbidden. He then tells him he could punish him by putting him to work in his mines. Zanzibar tries to get him to let him go, and then Max thinks comes with an idea. If he'll allow him to well, it's like if he'll allow him to, he doesn't have to, he can just take it, but won't do anything to Zanzibar. But and he'll even help. Um, I'm trying to frame this in a way of kind of like what happens. Um, he can tell him what he's. All Zanzibar has to do is what he's been doing. Um, and Max will be able to get more people into his minds. I don't know if I'm saying that right without actually getting extra feathery, extra like. Hmm. Let's try this again. Instead of having to do anything to Zanzibar, will help him larger productions. Zanzibar agrees, but asks what he wants in return. Max replies, nothing, but that he'll get his payment. Max, let's see. Max replies, he wants nothing from him, but that Zanzibar just figures into his plans. With that, Max assigns some men to help Zanzibar. Okay, now that is just some text, and it's just text to see. We're gonna change this, Control V, like that. Only like one more line, which is fine. Okay, we're gonna go save room data, and then we're gonna go over here, and we're gonna remove the text collecting thing. Okay, so I still have to. Okay, we're gonna delete this because that's no longer a part of the thing. And I got it. I got a copy somewhere, a different copy of a copy, backup. I got some backup stuff here, I think. I don't know. I don't necessarily. I got the old room, so I got the old text. So I'll just this will be okay. Social worker, brain juggling. Yeah. Yeah. Most people have better things to do than listen to someone talk about the story to their game that we never get finished. Um, okay. So, okay. So this is gonna be, it's not that, okay, so I have to I have to reframe these skills here. Okay. Maybe Zanzibar even finds out later that what he's doing, and not that there's going to be a pushback because there's not exactly going to be a pushback from Zanzibar. Okay. Okay, so he's got his money now. Now, Max's plan is still to steal his money, then to betray him to the audience once he's finished with him. Okay, that's still Max's plan, and he's going to do that. But the way it comes off is going to be a little bit different here. Okay. Only have 30 minutes to rewrite this, and okay. So we'll start with this. Now this is just a this isn't going to have be a decision point in here in this in particular, and um, this is just going to be a straight up, what happens here. Zanzibar starts putting on more shows with the help of Max's men, and gains a sizable following. Um, there's still um it's like, is there a story beat here, right? Because even the second one is going to be now they're still going to look for his money though, so that's probably going to be in the second beat. This is just the first. This is the setup beat. Uh, yeah. Let's see. Okay. Okay. So I'm still in the thing of whether or not. What if I can use ChatGPT again? I need to be able to bounce some ideas here. Really. Let's try ChatGPT again. Okay. All right. Are you there? Are you there? I want to just. Yep, still here. Um, I'll do the custom instructions later. Um, okay. So after some thought and discussion with Claude, um, whatever model they use for their free tier, I came to the conclusion that the Zanzibar tax collecting subplot is a little too weak, so I'm dropping that. But I'm still keeping around the 2 chapters. I want at least 2 chapters because it doesn't feel like 1 chapter is enough to justify being the character in. However, he does have some use in the main plot. Tracks, 2 chapters. Okay. Okay, so instead, he's going to make this deal with Zanzibar to help his shows in exchange for nothing. That is, Zanzibar doesn't have to do anything. Mainly because Max is going to extract a few audience members for his mind. Okay. Now, he still plans on the betrayal, and he still plans on finding Zanzibar's money before he betrays him. So I'm working on that. I don't know what I was going to ask chat now. So I'm trying to decide, does he tell him he's conducting for his minds, or does he not? I guess he doesn't. See, what exactly was I? Yeah. Uh, I guess I don't need to tell him, right? The show's recruitment traps. Oh yeah, auditing's in. Um, okay. Um, Let me think about this. Keep shows, keep drawing bigger crowds. I guess I'm wondering if there's a reason to tell Zanzibar what it's doing, or if that matters. Because if that matters. Doesn't matter for the plot, it does matter for tone. Turns into a complicit coward, willful ignoramus. Phil's transaction was shocking. Max does not tell him. Max stays predatory and manipulative and remains selfish, not evil. Betrayal feels inevitable and sharper, preserves audience sympathy to enjoy his escape. Yeah. Well, I always thought of the original story involved exposing the Brotherhood of Prestidigitator. I guess prestidigitator is not an actual word, right? Prestidigitation, or it would be anyways. Other magicians. Biggest illusion, and being rightfully angry, chase him where he ducks a hotel and ends up in Enchanted lands. But then I figured that's not really villainous. And it may or may not be even criminal. So I changed him to being a thief that uses his shows for thievery. Moral alignment while we're returning to Phil and Riley's impression staying in lane. The brother exposing makes Zanzibar whistleblower troublemaker at worst. Audience anger feels disproportionate. Police chase feels legally fuzzy. Hard to justify him as he deserves. Using shows as cover for theft, clean, readable wrongdoing, instantly understandable stakes. Police pursue to justify it mirrors what Max later does on a grander, uglier scale. That's true. That's true. Narratively, the new version keeps Zanzibar flawed and selfish, avoids accidental hero vibes. Nice irony. Small-time thief meets industrial scale thief. So yeah. Okay. So, Zanzibar wouldn't exactly be put out about hearing Max abducting people. I'm not trying to create a sympathetic character here. In fact, I don't care for morally ambiguous characters anyway. I prefer straight up good versus evil. Occasionally, you can have a betrayer. I don't like those either, but at least they're justified in the fact that usually they are evil as well. he just needs to be useful, selfish, and expendable. His shock at Max's actions are irrelevant or absent. So Max tells him about the objection. Zanzibar shrugs, rationalizes, or outright ignores it. Confirms he's not misled. Just a smaller scale evil makes Max's betrayal feel inevitable, not tragic. Okay, that's actually. If he tells him, I didn't think that. If he doesn't tell him, not conflicted, still clearly bad, just uninformed. Betrayal is practical, not moral. Either works because you're not protecting Zanzibar. Key takeaway: you're not deciding does this redeem Zanzibar. You're deciding do I want him knowingly dirty or merely sloppy. Pick based on which version makes Max feel more dominant in the scene. That's a thought, right? That's a thought. It could be part of the character development where Max reveals it to him, kind of on purpose. Like, in other words, like he's kind of threatening him, like, watch what you're doing, kind of thing. One message remaining, but that's okay because it's gonna flip to a lower model, which means I can still continue to do it. Okay, so hmm, well, nothing can change the overall story. Um, let's see. If he tells him, maybe it makes Zanzibar rethink. Oh, you know what? I could have a thing where he decides to escape. Um, Basically, he decides to run out without telling Max's men, and they still catch up to him, and he could still do the big show, but now he knows it's serious. So now he's doing it, kind of doing it for his life. It almost can still kind of turn sympathetic though, which I don't exactly want it to do, but maybe, just maybe, maybe that would work here. Uh, okay, so you think wanting to partner with Max. So maybe there's a point where he tries to escape, and Max catches up to him. Um, and makes him do the final show anyway. And this also gives Zanzibar a chance to figure out what he's going to do when it inevitably goes sideways. Works actually sharpens chapter 9 without muddying your moral lines. Active agency for the finale. X intercepts and research dominance. Makes the final show feel forced. Not celebratory. Let's mentally prep while when it goes sideways. Earn not lucky. Survival's cunning, not virtue. Hmm. Uh, that. Start a free plus trial. Is it gonna stop me now? I didn't put any I didn't do any pictures or nothing, you know, any documents or anything. It's just a pure chat. So is it gonna now suddenly uh not going to actually stop me from? It's gonna make me mad. Maybe it's about to happen. Okay. I might be able to. Well, it's gonna make it 21 chapters, and I don't want 21 chapters. So I might have to cut out a chapter, and that's not. No, I'll leave it at 2 chapters, anyways. That'll be all right. You know, I added that extra chapter about the Omnigate, the machine, and I figured it was important enough that it should have its own chapter, basically, because all this kind of weird the secrecy going on, this stuff that's going on. Princess comes back, she has this plan, this Omnigate, this thing that Max is doing, that he's mining the extra Quicksilver for. In fact, it's kind of funny because the way I did it is he has a device that doesn't need Quicksilver, and yet he's still mining for Quicksilver. And so I don't know if you'd say I was trying to uh, what's the word I'm looking for? Um, what's the word? We make up with somebody. Um, forgot what to say now. My brain sometimes. Um, anyways, I figured that for one thing, some of the Omnigate stuff was in another chapter that didn't belong in a different chapter. So I put it in its own chapter. Um, oh yeah, what word of correlate? It's not correlate. It's not console. What's the word I'm looking for? Darn it! Reconcile. Reconcile is probably the word. It's not a c word. That's why. Anyways, to reconcile the 2 points, to reconcile, I mean, I wasn't really trying to reconcile the 2 points, but it's sort of effectively what it does. And the idea is that, yeah, the devices on themselves can open a portal to anywhere. He doesn't need Quicksilver to do that. He just needs an intent, so he doesn't actually need Quicksilver to do it. But in order to do it on the scale he wants to do it, he still has to have the power. So he's going to mine Quicksilver. Anyways, reconcile was the word I was looking for. Okay. Let's think. So he does end up telling him. Okay, so now I have to figure out where he tells him at. All right. I only have a few minutes before I have to quit now, again. Uh, after each show, maybe he has a tent, like like he'd have a trailer on a movie set. Maybe there's a tent that he has when he sets up his shows. Zanzibar to his tent instructs Corvus to take the money to um, he instructs Corvus to take their money the special hiding place no one is looking. After each show, goes back to his tent. Joe goes back to his tent. He instructs Corvus to take their money to a special hiding place where no one is looking. One of the men Oh, yeah. Okay. The men start taking audience members until one day Corvus spots them and tells Zanzibar. Okay. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna leave this like this is, and it's time for me to quit for today, I guess. I kind of wasted some time, so instead of actually finishing today, which I was hoping to do, I end up having to extend it because I have to do this rewrite. It's not a big deal though, because um, I finish the rewrite tomorrow. I possibly find the decision points, which the one is when he escapes. That's going to be one, and then the other one is going to be concerning. Um, what's it going to be concerning? I don't know. He's not stealing taxes anymore. This is where you get. Well, okay. And starts taking audience members. And while I'm doing so, notice Corvus leaving. Notice Corvus leaving. Okay, I'll leave it like that. So they notice Corvus is leaving, so that when they report back to Max, they could tell him that he's taking his money and doing it, and realizing that he's probably making a lot of money, he decides he's going to take it before actually, you know, getting rid of them, that sort of thing. Anyways, thanks, Rook. Thanks for anybody else who's still watching, who's been watching, even with my internet cutting out and not getting a lot done. Um, we'll come back tomorrow, same time, and we'll see if we can still get chapter 9 done by the end of the week. Still think I can do it. I know it's only 2 days, but I'm pretty confident that I've got a plan, or at least I got a direction to go in. I rewrite these couple of deals, then I think I can't do it with the henchmen. The henchmen are not major NPC player, or they're NPCs. They're not major players. They're not player characters. Even though they're villains, they're not villain player characters. So they don't uh, get agency. So somehow somehow I need to do some other thing for agency somehow. Uh, Maybe they follow, and then Max has to actually come in and find out where he actually stashed the where he actually stashed the money, right? That'll work. That'll work. Okay. So anyways, yeah. So thank you for watching, and I guess I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you for watching part 2. Join us again tomorrow.